monitors off to the side. Boom, 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 boom. And I've got my report that we'll take a look at below me so you can see what's been going on with my blood sugars over the last little while. So we'll get to that here in just a bit. First, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to do a quick check-in so that we know what's been happening with me. And we've not done a check-in for a little bit, but we're gonna hop in to do that right now as we get into this fast. And for those of you who are fasting with us for this week, hand clap. Right, just a hand clap to you. And for those of you who are also out there and you've been with us over the course of the last couple of days. So we started our fast yesterday, and there were those of you who ended your fast today on our pop-up. Congratulations. And then some of you started your fast today as we got into the second day. My hat's off to you as well. So let's go ahead and we're going to talk a little bit about how I'm doing, and I want you to begin learning to do the same thing, right? So as we are working on our metabolism, as we're learning how our body works, there are certain questions I want you to begin asking, and there are three main areas that those will come in, and that has to do with how we're feeling physically, how we're feeling mentally, and how we're feeling emotionally. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. So physically, when we talk about the physical, it is how am I feeling lightheaded, dizzy, sweaty? Am I feeling palpitations? Am I feeling drained? Am I feeling as though my energy is gone? And that we'll talk more about what causes some of those tonight, but also when we do our full check-in on Friday. So make sure you join us for that. So how does the energy feel right now? And my energy feels steady. Okay, so my body, I'm not feeling lightheaded as though I'm sweaty. I'm not feeling as though my blood sugars are dropping. And that's an important one for people, particularly those who are on medications that may be also continuing to bring your blood sugar down, right? So I don't feel drained. I don't feel as though I'm walking through quicksand or I'm walking through mud. I feel actually pretty steady right now. And then when it comes to my mentation, so physically, mentally, what is my focus like? Am I sharp or am I feeling foggy? Am I feeling dull in my thought process? And right now, I'm actually feeling pretty focused. We're 33 hours into this week's fast, and we'll talk more about why that happens as you feel focused. And then emotionally, right? This has to do with our mood. Am I calm? Am I restless? Am I feeling peaceful? What are those things that are going on in my body? And for me, right now, I am feeling calm and I'm feeling rested. As you guys know, there's some things that have been going on with me personally over the last several weeks, and this was one of those weeks as I came in, I wasn't quite sure how things were going to go, but as I got into the fast, just this kind of calm came over me. So right now, I'm feeling steady in terms of my physical. I'm feeling focused and sharp in terms of my mentation, and I'm feeling calm and peaceful when it comes to my mood. So as you are going through the fast, I want you now to begin learning to listen to your body so that you can make changes if you need to. And we'll talk about what those changes can be. Join us as we go through the rest of the week, through the rest of this fast, okay? And then let's go ahead and we're going to hop over and we're going to take a look at what's been going on with my monitors, my blood sugars. And we'll start with, let me go ahead and pull this up here really quickly. We're going to start with my Dexcom and my Libre, and then we'll take a look at what's going on with my ketones. So I am right now at 33 hours into this week's fast. And if you are out there, go ahead and start guessing. What do you think my ketones are going to be as we get into this discussion, right? So let's go ahead and let's start by looking at my, this is my Libre. So my Freestyle Libre, and you see right here, it says that my blood sugar, right about there, my blood sugar is 67. And if you look down here below, you'll see this is my graph for what's been going on over the last 12 hours. The first part of that graph is white, And then the latter part, you start to see some red there right about midday or thereabouts, and or late afternoon, and that's where my blood sugars are going below 70. Right now it's below 70, so 67, and then down here you'll see what's been going on over the last 12 hours. If I put my finger along that, you can begin. Let's see, there we are. You can begin seeing what those numbers are, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this up so we can look at it together. So 88. Right, 87, 86, so we were kind of hanging in the 80s, and then right there about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we start dropping into the 70s, and then about 4 or 5 o'clock, we start getting into the 60s, and that's where we've kind of remained for most of the evening. We, kind of pop back and forth a little bit there, okay? And then let's take a look at our reports, and I'm going to look at my time in range. And you'll see this number right here, so 94% in range, and then down below 6%. And that 6% is actually where my blood sugar drops below 70. And so combined, you'll see that's 100%. But I typically, when I'm fasting, the blood sugar will go below 70, and that's what you're seeing right there. If I look at the 14-day average, 94%. If I look at the 30-day average, 85%, with 15% being low blood sugars. And then for my 90-day, you'll see there 87%, and then low blood sugars in 13%. The other thing I like about the Libre is I can get out of this, and there's another report. Let's take a look at this one. So average glucose, and you see right in this line, that's where my average blood sugar is for 7 days, 14 days, 10 days, and then 90 days. But what I like is right down in this area, you'll see that is what my blood sugars are broken down into the different times of the day. Okay, and I love that because it allows me to make choices based on what's going on in the course of my day. All right, so let's get out of that one, and then we want to see what my Dexcom says. And right now it says that my blood sugar is 91. And you see there's a difference there between the Dexcom and the Libre. Libre said 67, I think is what it was. And then here we're saying 91. If I look at this over the course of the last 12 hours, just like we did before, you'll see that we've kind of been hanging out in the hundreds for an early part of the day. And then as we got later in the day, we dropped into the 90s. And you'll see right there. And then down, kind of straddling 90s to 100, and then dropped into the 90s, and then remained there for most of the rest of the day. Okay? And then we'll take a closer look at this later on, but here's my 14-day average. I can actually go, let's do 90-day. How about that? So here's my 90-day average is 115. My glucose management indicator is 6.1, so if I were to get an A1C, that's what I would approximate that it would be. And then I'm in target 97% of the time, with target being anywhere from 70 to 180, okay? All right, and then let's hop over and let's take a look at my blood sugars over here. This is my Keto Mojo, and this is my Contour. And let's see, let's grab this one. So I need, I got my little container. I've got a brown strip for for glucose for the Keto Mojo. I need a blue one for ketones. I need strips for the Contour, and then I need some Lancets. Let me grab a couple of those out. And so this is what we have right here. Get this one back over here. And let's go ahead and open this up and grab, let's see, there we are. We'll get a Lancet or a test strip. That's for the Contour. Get this one off to the side. And then we'll open up, this is the Keto Mojo test strip for glucose. Get that opened. All right, get that in. And I'm going to go ahead and open up, let's get that in. There we go. Go ahead and open up, and it gave me an error. Let's get that out and get it back in. I pushed it a little too fast. There we go. And then also open up, this is the ketone strip for the Keto Mojo as well. I'm going to open that up and just have it off to the side so that it's ready to go. It popped right out. And as you know, I don't usually use a Lansing device. I just use a Lancet. So I grab this. I'm going to open this up right here. And we've been kind of picking on this finger. And we just kind of keep the same one. Let's get this down a little bit. Right there. And ow, 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 ow. Hopefully that gives me a good, okay. So not a brisk drop, but enough to get this started. And this is the Keto Mojo. Get a drop there on the contour as well. And while those are running, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on the screen so we can see what this is saying compared to where those are. And so right now you see 73 for the contour, 74 for the Keto Mojo, and right there you'll see 91 right up there somewhere. You see 91 for the Dexcom. And let's go ahead and get this strip out. Get my ketone strip in, and once again, go ahead and drop into the comments. What do you think my ketones are going to be at 33? Actually, a bit over 33 hours now. Let's get this one off the screen. All right. So what do you think that's going to be? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And ketones are 0.6. 0.6. So let's go ahead and let's grab our Keto Mojo. This is our Keto Mojo app. And I'm going to go ahead and try to get that synced so we can pull it over. So when we talk about ketones, ketones that are less than 0.5 considered normal, 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and then okay, let's see, did it not sync? And then ketones that are above 1.5 are considered therapeutic ketosis. It says it's syncing there with the meter. Let's see if they, okay, yeah, there we go. So this is the one from yesterday. Let's see. All right, so I'll be working on getting that over. I'm not. Oh, I think there it is. The meter was off. So let's go ahead and get that synced up. We put you back on the screen. Can you see both of them at the same? Yeah. So there we go. So now the meter's on. Hopefully that pulls over. Gets all that in. And so one of the things that to note is that the ketones, as we get into fasting, when you are in a fasting mimicking diet, or you're in a ketogenic diet, or you are, try it again. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Hopefully that'll sync while we talk. You want to have ketones that are 0.5 or higher. That's the goal, because at that point we know that the body is moving into burning fat cells, and that gives us the benefits that we want in terms of our metabolism. All right, so let's go ahead and let's say hello to some of our community members that we see out there. Let's see, let's do this. All right, and so let's see. We've got Gian. Gian says, "Hi, doctor. Hey, what's up, Gian? How are you doing?" She said, "I am 47 hours into the fast. Congratulations, by the way." Let's give you a hand clap for that. And you said no sound. Huh. Are you guys hearing sound? I hope I am. You're hearing sound now. Okay. 0.3 is what Junior was guessing. Says I'm going to break fast after the live. Okay, awesome. Congratulations on the fast, Gian. Thank you, Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, what's going on? Howdy to all. What's going on? Gian saying hi to Jennifer. She said, I assume your garden is abundant this fall. Yeah, probably. And then Cornelia says, hi, Doc, sis, Jennifer, and LG. My ketone guess for you was 0.7. Okay, good job. So we were 0.6. And so she's congratulating Gian for 10 weeks of 48 hours. So this is Gian's 10th week of doing a fast. 33-hour check-in is awesome too. Okay. What's up going on? So they're communicating, saying hi to each other. Cornelia says, I'm so proud of you. Thank you from Gion. So Jennifer said, we've had our first frost. Have only a few places that can handle cold. Need to dig the sweet potatoes, purple potatoes, and carrots. Oh, you got some good stuff out there. She said planting garlic this weekend, so we'll rest over the winter. Okay, very good. Love sweet potatoes. Great, Jennifer. Gion says 0.6. I guess again. I'm not sure how Gion is getting that. Says, yes, Jennifer is going to be in the 30s tonight. I really like all potatoes and garlic too. Yeah, so potatoes, carbs are good. Carbs, we love carbs. We love those carbs. All right, all right. So let's go ahead. Man, so you guys weren't seeing that. Let me go back over here. Let's get back here. And let me run through those again. All right, so let's start back up here. All right. So I'm 47 hours into the fast. She said no sound, but hopefully the sound is back. Jennifer says congratulations on the fast, Gian. Howdy all from Jennifer. And then Cornelia was talking about just saying hi, guessing 0.7. Saying I'm proud of you to Gian, and Jennifer talking about her garden. I'm just putting these back up because I don't think you saw all of that earlier. And then saying that we're planting garlic and getting everything to rest. And then Cornelia, yes, Jennifer is going to be 30s tonight. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and let's hop into our conversation as we get into our discussion for fasting this evening. And here we go. Let's see, where are we? Let's get this one. All right, so we are checking in at 33 hours into the fast, right? That's where we are. And we're using fasting, once again, as that amazing tool that allows us to get our metabolism working in the right way and to right the metabolism. So we've done check-ins before, and you're checking your blood sugars, you're checking ketones, you've got your labs that have been done, and your data, right? Your data is your body's diary, all the things that you're looking at. It records how well your structure is holding. So as we look at those numbers, what we're seeing is what's going on inside the body and the things that we've put in place to help us in regulating our system. And so now that we've checked in, let's talk about what's happening under the hood, right? The biology of what's going on at 33 hours. This is the handoff that makes fasting work. This is the transition point, right? That turning point that we talk about. And so the transition point is the important place where the metabolism stops functioning based on the things that we just finished eating, and it's now looking at what's going on downstream, okay? So this is, like I said, the metabolic handoff. So at 33 hours, your body begins the great fuel exchange. So glycogen, the short-term sugar in your liver, is nearly gone. Insulin, your storage hormone, begins dropping because there's no reason for it to stay high because blood sugars are going down. Glucagon, this is your release hormone, rises because glucagon and insulin can't be in the same space at the same time. So when insulin is high, glucagon is low, and when the insulin begins going down, then glucagon goes up. Okay? Growth hormone steps in to protect muscles and to keep you from losing muscle. And that's one of the important things for people who are interested in fasting, they say, man, I'm afraid that I'm going to lose muscle. But when you fast, your growth hormone levels actually go up, and that helps to preserve that muscle. And in fact, it also helps you to recover. Like if you're working out, it helps you to heal, helps you to recover much faster. So now your fat cells start releasing those fatty acids, and your liver converts those fatty acids that are coming from fat cells into ketones. And ketones are a cleaner, more stable fuel for both your brain and your body. As those ketones are going up, blood sugars begin to smooth out. Hunger calms down. Focus sharpens. That's not happening by luck. It's not just, oh, well, this time I think it's going to work and next time it's not going to work. That's by design. That's the structure of the body. That's metabolic flexibility. Your ability to switch fuels without crashing. Yeah? So fasting isn't deprivation. Fasting is the language of flexibility. So let's talk a little bit about hormones. What's going on in our body? This is kind of a rhythmic reset, if you will. So hormonal harmony is happening. This transition is more than just a fuel shift. It's the hormones handshaking with each other, giving each other high fives. Hey, okay, insulin, I'm good, right? It's kind of like, okay, I did used to watch wrestling. And it's kind of like, being outside the ring and somebody's in the ring and they're going through the motions, and you tap them, right? You tap them in. And so now they come out, somebody else comes in. So insulin and glucagon are doing that. Insulin steps back so the fat can begin flowing. Glucagon steadies glucose release. Growth hormone repairs tissue and preserves muscle. Cortisol settles into rhythm, steady, not spiking, not going up and down, but just a constant. Remember, cortisol is the stress hormone, but it also is responsible for finding fuel in the body. And now the fuel is a constant, pure source, so cortisol begins to steady. Inside your cells, your mitochondria, which are those batteries that convert, that take all the stuff that we eat and give us ATP, which is the energy that we use. The mitochondria switches energy sources. They stop plugging into the glucose, and it now plugs into what we call fat oxidation, basically fat cells and the ketones. That means that you have less waste, less inflammation, and more clean, sustainable energy. Whenever I talk about this, I always tell people it's kind of like you have a hybrid car. And when the gas runs down, it just switches over to the battery. The same thing is happening here. When your glucose levels go down, which they are almost depleted now, because blood sugars are down and the body's used up the glycogen that's in the liver, then it starts looking for another source. And the source that's there are the ketones that are coming from the fat cells. So when your hormones trust your structure, when the structure is there, then your metabolism begins to heal. So what's normal at this point? Right? Let's talk about what you might be feeling right now. And if you've heard me check in, part of this is what I talk about. Because understanding the signals that are going on in your body and the things that are happening helps you stay the course. Because as your body changes, you're going to feel different things. And if you don't understand what's going on, you may think that there's something wrong. And often people will step back and say, well, fasting doesn't work because I felt such and such. Well, those things are probably things that should have been happening anyway, but just not understanding them causes some angst. Okay? So what should be happening at this point? Well, one, you may feel a little chilly. And that's because thermogenesis, the body's ability to to make heat shifts as your metabolism recalibrates. So remember, what we're doing is we're taking, basically like taking a plug out of one socket and we're putting it into another socket. It's kind of like if you were in a house, and we've got community members who live on the farm and they live in different places, different around the country and around the world. It's kind of like if you lose power and your generator kicks in, right? Because you're going from one source to another, and for a brief moment, you may see a dip. And so thermogenesis, right? You feel a little chilly. You may feel a little lightheaded. And that's because electrolyte balance is balancing as your insulin begins to drop. Because insulin, remember, insulin is a storage hormone. Insulin not just affects blood sugar, but it affects other things in your body, like it affects electrolytes. And so as the insulin is going down, you may have some fluctuations in your electrolytes. And you may feel that kind of like a lightheadedness or even some palpitations, feel like your heart's racing or skipping a beat. Your focus becomes clear. You become more, as my son says, you lock in, all right? That's your brain running on ketones, that cleaner fuel that's there. These aren't warning signs. They're actually adaptation signs that your body is switching and it is moving in the direction that we say we want it to go in. Because it's moving from the fluctuating energy source of blood sugar, because remember, blood sugars will fluctuate, but when we move to fat cells, and we have stores, lots of stores, that is a more constant source of energy. And so understanding the signal prevents overreacting when we do see things that are going on, when we see those symptoms that are coming up. Okay? So then let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about 3 markers of a smooth transition. So how do we know things are going and things are moving in the direction that we want? Well, one of the things that I encourage people to do is I encourage people to monitor what's going on in their body. Monitor, yes, with the check-in we did, how we're doing physically, mentally, and emotionally. And we'll talk about mental here in just a minute as well. But also, you see me, I use a lot of monitors. Like I have a glucose monitor, I have ketone monitors, I track my weight, and not just the number on the scale, I track some of the other parameters like body mass, bone density, I track subcutaneous fat, hydration. All of those are parameters that I track for myself because I want to know what's going on in my body. But there are 3 that I want you to pay particular attention to, right? So how do we know that this process is working? Number 1 is stable glucose. Stable glucose. And in order to know this, you've got to be looking at your blood sugars. And so I encourage anybody who is interested in their metabolism, not just for people who are diabetic. If you're interested in your metabolism, if you're interested in weight loss, if you're interested in seeing how different foods affect your body, or energy that comes from sleep, or stress, all of those things will show in your blood sugars. So you'll see gentle waves is what you should expect. Not big random spikes. And at this point, the liver is balancing release and storage, right? Energy on demand, not overload, right? I don't need all of that right now, so you hold on to it. Okay, now I need some more, give me some. And this is going on throughout the process of fasting. Number 2, mental clarity. Your thoughts flow. You don't feel like you're in a fog. You don't feel like you're fuzzy-headed. Your brain is burning ketones, and they are efficient and they are calm. Remember, beta hydroxybutyrate is the ketone that we like. There are a couple that comes from burning fat cells, but beta hydroxybutyrate we like. We like the fact that when we fast, the body produces something called brain-derived natriuretic factor, BDNF. It's like miracle grow for the brain. And people will talk about having connections during this time, right? That like things just seem to click. And that's because mental clarity is going on due to the fact that we have these hormones that are happening, ketones are coming, the brain is picking up the energy, this stable energy source. And then number 3, calm energy, right? So stable blood sugars, because you're watching those, mental clarity, and we're talking about how we know things are working. And then third will be calm energy. So there's a steady state that happens. There's no sugars. That we're not feeling like it goes like, we're up now and we're down, we're hitting a wall. That doesn't happen. When things are flowing, when things are working, when we've done a good job of coming into fasting, when we've done a good job in our non-fasting windows of eating well. So cortisol and insulin are now in balance. So if your data looks like this, stable blood sugar, mental clarity, and calm energy, then structure is working. Structure is moving in the direction that we want. If it's not, you may need to tweak, whether it's we need some electrolytes, right? We tweak hydration. We need to tweak our resting. Maybe we're in a highly stressful situation. Maybe during our eating windows, when we're not fasting, we're not doing a good job of balanced bites or looking at our food in a way that gives us all the nourishment that we need when we get into a fast. For example, if you are deficient in a mineral or a vitamin, when you get into the fast, that will show up. Not because there's something wrong with fasting, but because we've not been doing a balanced meal plan when we're eating. So before changing anything else, you want to make sure that you are looking at these components. And if you're not getting the stable blood sugars, the mental clarity, and that energy, the balanced energy, then we need to look to see what's going on. What do we need to tweak in our fast? It's not that fasting doesn't work. There is something that we need to address. And if we can address it, then we can begin fasting successfully, because if we do that, we're righting the metabolism. And remember, that is our goal. How do we get the metabolism better? And the metabolism, and we can go through and we can list, right, not all, but we can list a lot of the things that we will see with metabolism. And we're talking here now about blood sugars, diabetes. We're talking about prediabetes. We're talking about fatty liver. We're talking about metabolic syndrome. We're talking about obesity. We're talking about polycystic ovarian syndrome and coronary artery disease and being at risk for strokes and even some cancers and dementia. Notice the gamut of things that are affected. So if you're there, don't just throw fasting off as, that doesn't work for me. It behooves you. It makes sense to try to get it to work. And we can do that by adjusting various things, as we just talked about. There's a tweak that we need to do. So predictability is the safety signal your metabolism craves. It likes predictability. It does not like randomness, right? Our thoughts, our body, our minds like sameness. Now, we may personally say we like excitement, we like change, we like everything, but our body likes rhythm. It likes structure. So let's talk about going from data to design. Data to design. And we've been talking about blueprints as we have moved through our series. So these smooth glucose lines and calm focus that we talk about, right? So glucose and mental clarity and focus and energy, that's not random. That's rhythm turning into regulation. Because when you do it often enough, and we have some community members that are doing, this is their 10th time of going through the fast. We've been fasting now over 2 years at this pace. Metabolic flexibility has kicked in. So our body now is adept at switching between energy sources. So it's no longer random. It's rhythm turning into regulation. It's now a pattern. Every pattern you repeat, when you fast, when you rest, when you move, it sends a signal to your metabolism that says, okay, this is how we roll now. You've heard talk about people who get on different shifts, right? So they work a day shift, they get on night shift, they're working, second shift, whatever it is, and they begin seeing changes in their metabolism. Their weight goes up. They're more hungry. They're more irritable. Why? Because the body is adjusting to the new shift that they're on now. The same thing happens here when you are predictable, when you're doing things in a rhythm, when it becomes a routine, your body doesn't have to guess anymore. Your metabolism likes that, and your system calms. Your body doesn't just respond, it remembers. That's what structure really is. Memory built into behavior, right? So rhythm is how your body remembers safety. Your body likes to be safe, and it remembers it by looking at the rhythm. Yeah? So let's talk a little bit now about a calibration check. Let's do one together. Calibration check. Number one, as you're moving through your space, and I talked a little bit ago about knowing that things are working, right? And we gave 3 things. Blood sugars are stable, your focus, mental clarity, and your energy level is good. So let's do a check, calibration check. Number one, am I hydrating before hunger? Am I hydrating before hunger? And so we're just kind of going through a check. And a checklist is really designed to make sure you're hitting the things. We're not waiting until something happens and then going back and saying, oh, let me go make sure I check, right? So we want to do this. We want to do this prior to. Number one, fuel, right? So am I hydrating well? Am I hydrating before I get hungry? Am I using water, and do I have the appropriate amount of minerals to stabilize my metabolism? Number one. Am I not in the fast, but prior to the fast, am I doing a good job of eating in such a way that I'm getting balanced meals? Number one, right? This is a calibration check. Number two, am I getting good rest? Because if I'm already fatigued, if I'm tired, when my body is switching between one energy source and another, then I will feel a profound dip in energy. And people say, well, when I fast, I feel like so tired. Well, you were tired before, and because there's this transition between the two energy sources, now you feel, I'm walking through quicksand. So guard your sleep. Number one, am I fueling well? Number two, guarding my rest. Right? So tonight's rest sets the tone for tomorrow's blood sugar. Oh, I want you to listen to that one. When we don't rest well, that is a stress on the body. And stress indicates, hey, I need cortisol. Cortisol's job is to go find sugar, and so the blood sugar goes up. And when blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up. When insulin goes up, our body begins storing. It comes out of beta oxidation, so it doesn't burn fat cells anymore, right? So that lack of sleep, that lack of rest, short circuits the process. So am I feeling well? Am I getting good rest? And number 3, awareness, right? We're talking about this is a calibration check. Am I aware of patterns that are going on in my body before reacting? Oh, I'm hungry. Well, am I hydrated? Oh, I feel fatigued. Am I getting good rest? So before breaking the fast and say, I'm going to go eat because I'm hungry, am I hydrated? Am I well hydrated? Being aware of the structure that's required is important. Awareness of the structure that's in motion is important. So you don't have to overhaul the whole thing. You just have to tweak, which is why we talked about checking blood sugars, right? Stable blood sugars, knowing that things are working. Number 2 is making sure that we are fueling well. And number 3 is what? Making sure that we are resting, right? So we're looking through the process. We're checking, right? Fuel, rest, and being aware. So we're looking also not for perfection, and we're not looking to judge, we're looking for observation. So we're just noting where it is that we're feeling off, and then, okay, how do we go about fixing that? That's how structure sustains success. We talked about the inner design loop, remember that? So anchoring, aligning, and adapting. Anchoring is the why, and why are we doing this? Aligning our behavior, all checklists, making sure that we're walking through those things, making sure that we're seeing and making sure doing the things that we need to do so that we can be successful, not waiting until we run into an issue, but we're doing this before, it's preventative, and then adapting. So looking at what's going on and understanding our body and realizing what's happening so that we can make a change, so that we can be successful. That's the goal. Remember, calibration keeps consistency alive. Calibration keeps consistency alive. Yes? So let's recap. Here's the big truth. At 33 hours, motivation is no longer the engine. So you were motivated to start. Someone directed you to start. A doctor said, hey, you need to get healthy. You were motivated. You had an event. You went to the doctor and they say, hey, your blood pressure is high. Your weight's gone up. You have bad knees. You've had a heart attack. You had a stroke. You've had some event that motivated you. At 33 hours, motivation is no longer there. The biology is driving you. You've crossed from fuel dependence to fuel flexibility. You've gone from burning carbs to burning fat. You've gone from effort, right? Oh my goodness. And this is where a lot of people will have an issue. They start, well, let me even back up before then. Often it is a mental thing why some people don't get into fasting. Well, I can't fast that long, or I can't go that long without eating. Not realizing that we have ample stores of energy in our body that can get us through fasting. And in fact, when we fast, because of all the hormonal changes and the ketones that are generated, the body actually helps us fasting in the fasting. The body says, I want this to happen, so I'm going to make it easy for you. So we go from effort where, oh my goodness, I'm getting ready to start a fast, and it's a big deal, to, okay, I got this. And by the time you've done this like some of our community members, 10 times, 12 times, 100 times, your body says, okay, I got this now. And it moves from discipline, just a set of rules, to design. This is just how things are. This is what we do. We fast on a regular basis. We fast once a week. We fast twice a week. Whatever your rhythm is, whatever your routine is, it becomes a part of the design now. It's not something that we are trying to do. It is what we do. It is who we are. So structure turns discipline into design. And so we're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for you to fast for 100 days. Everyone should be able to fast at least for a 24-hour period once a week as a start. Unless there are some extenuating medical reasons. When you're fasting, you reset the body. And at 33 hours, there's this transition that's going on. This is where most of the glycogen is gone. This is where the body's transitioning to burning those fat cells. It's producing those ketones. And those ketones are amazing in their ability to help us downstream in terms of our metabolism. So our blueprints loop: transition, adaptation, and restoration. You've crossed a biological bridge, and now your structure, not your struggle, is holding the rhythm, the structure that you've put in place. Where your body stops depending on your motivation and stops depending on that fluctuating source of fuel. And now it is relying on a constant, pure source of fuel. This is the transition period. And this is where the benefit of fasting shows up. And as we move into more extended fast, we'll see even more benefits. Hang by. We'll talk more about fasting and its amazing ability to right the metabolism as we talk about our Blueprints series. All right, so up next, we will be doing our pop-up tomorrow at 48 hours, and then, of course, our check-in at 56 hours as we continue moving through the fast. And we're going to talk about the adaptation zone, where your body stops reacting and starts restoring. So we just talked about the transition, right? That handoff, right, from glucose to ketones, right? And so what we want to do now is and you heard me mention about extended fast. So everybody should be able to fast for 24-hour period once a week, unless there are some extenuating circumstances. Well, what happens beyond the 24-hour period? We'll talk about that as we do our check-in tomorrow at 56 hours of fasting. We'll do our pop-up at 48 hours, so come back and see that. And then, of course, on Friday, we'll have our complete review of fasting. How do you prepare for the fast? How do you get through the fast? And then how do you break the fast? And you get to see what I eat for the very first time in 72 hours. You want to make sure that you join us for that. Remember, we here are doing everything based on our EEE formula for success. We educate, we empower, we encourage. We educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcast, with the intention of helping you to understand how your body works. Because remember, if you understand it, and you have the right tools, then you make the decisions that are right for your body and for your system. Remember, play your own game. So we educate. a different perspective on how the body works. What's going on? What do I need to do to fuel the body? How does the body help me? Like we just talked about, it supports you in the process of writing your metabolism. It wants good metabolism. It is interested in good metabolism. It wants to be around. It wants to be healthy. All we have to do is give it the right conditions. And our education allows us to do that. We learn how to do that. We empower. Because simply having information is not enough. You've got to have the tools to put it into practice. So all the things that we're learning, the Blueprint series, Play Your Own Game, Finishing Strong, the Health Action Plan, the HEAT model, the COPE model, all of that is with the intention of giving you the tools that you need to begin applying the concepts that we're learning so that you can work your metabolism, bring it back into balance so that you can be healthy and you can be around. And then we encourage with the power of community. If you want to do something, you can do it by yourself and you may be successful. But if you want to do something and you want to be efficient at it and you want to do it so that it lasts, so it's not just today or tomorrow or next week, but becomes the rhythm, the structure of who you are, so that your metabolism is not, I'm up 1 pound today, I'm down 2 pounds, and I'm up 10 pounds, my blood sugar is going up, or last year I did that thing and it worked, but now I'm not doing it anymore, now my blood sugar is out of control, my weight's gone up, my fatty liver is there, I've had a heart attack or a stroke. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for sustained progress and sustained structure. So we educate, we empower, and we encourage. And so remember, structure protects what motivation starts. Say that again. Structure, the structure that you put in place, protects what your motivation starts. So you'll be motivated and push and drive. And a lot of people will get out there, they'll start and they'll go running, and they may have some measure of success. And then something happens and it stops. And I'll ask them, well, what happened? They say, man, I was doing so good. And they'll say something. Mom got sick. We went on vacation, got laid off. Whatever the thing is, something happens and it throws the system off. And because there was not a structure, something that was a rhythm, something that was a routine, and it wasn't ingrained, then it fell by the wayside. So we want to keep the rhythm, we want to keep the structure, and we want to live a limitless life. Because after all, we're showing up with our best self, our best health, and our best plans for our lives, and we're going to be successful. We're not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent us from doing what we need to do, and we are going to be successful. Right? All right. Yeah, and I'm going to say it. Can I say it? Yeah, this is one of my favorite conversations. It is. All right, so let's go ahead and let's say hello to some of our community members. Let's see what's been going on. Let's see. Here we are. Okay, here we are. So Cornelia says, yes, Jennifer is going to, okay, we talked about that already. Gian says, I'm planning to fast until Friday, 5 p.m. Yay, congratulations. I think, Gian, it is Friday there for you, isn't it? I believe so. Yes. Or is it Thursday? Drop that in the comments. Gian says, great, sis. Thanks from Cornelia. Gian is smiling. Great job, Gian. Cornelia saying, Jennifer says, I started a long fast this week. Started 7 p.m. Sunday. Will end tomorrow. Congratulations, Jennifer. I love that. Okay. So Gian says, wow, Jennifer, amazing. Yeah, that is amazing. And that's going without food for 5 days. So so how many days is that, Jennifer? And Cornelia says, great job, Jennifer. Clap, 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 clap. Thanks. Needed a fall reset. I like that. That is a nice reset. Great job, Jennifer from Gian. Jennifer says, my CGM has been riding in the upper 80s to lower 90s the past 2 days. Currently at 92 with blood sugar check at 88. Doing well, drinking electrolytes. Awesome, awesome. Love it, love it. Okay. Gian says, wow. And Jennifer says, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so that is amazing, right? So as we're talking about fasting, one of the things that you may have heard me say on our check-in to our pop-up today is the community is designed for you to just pop in, for you to plug in, for you to go along, right? So if you've been thinking about fasting, if you've been dabbling, and you want, hey, I want to do this in earnest, we do this. So we've got Tuesday pop-ups, Wednesday pop-up, Wednesday night show right here. We've got Thursday pop-up, we've got Thursday night show, we got our Friday fast, right? So all of those are designed for you to be able to pop in, jump in, and come and share your experience with us so that we can talk about what's going on in your space so that you can see what other people are doing. If you have successes, share those. If you're having challenges, share those so that we can answer those questions as we move through the week. Okay? All right. Well, we'll be back, y'all, tomorrow for our pop-up at 48 hours. We'll do our check-in at 56 hours tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central. And then on Friday, we'll have our check-in where we do our complete review of fasting, how to prepare for the fast, get through the fast, and how to break the fast. On Saturday night, we have we have Video from the Vault at 9 p.m. Central. And then on Sunday morning, This Week in Review for right here on the channel. And then next week, we'll be back at 7 p.m. Central on Monday for Dwain Woode MD Live as we continue our walk through the Blueprints for Your Health series, which is an amazing series which helps us to put the things that are in place, the structure, and put the foundation that's in place as we work to be healthy. Hey, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Woode with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications. Go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. We want to help you. We want to empower you to have the success in your health like you're having in other areas of your life. We want you to be around, we want you to be healthy, and we want you to have long life so that you can show up for those things that are so important for you, the connections, the family, and the important events. We want you to be around. We want you to be healthy, and we want you to be here. Everybody, good night, everybody. Well, we're going to play our Move campaign promo, and then we'll be out of here. Good night, everybody. See you later. Welcome to Move, metabolic optimization via exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is Move. Let's get started.